welcome back to Podium Pop. My name is Gracie, and I'm here with my co-host Celine. We are a motorsport podcast, and we're here to talk about some Formula One news. The Las Vegas Grand Prix happened. We had some huge advancements with an 11th team joining the grid, and some Formula One Academy news. So we are going to get started with our episode. But before we do, we owe Mr. Max Verstappen a congratulations.
Woo!
And to that, what do I say? Do.
Max Verstappen.
Do.
You know, just a quick note.
Yeah.
He does have the most iconic song. Other drivers have songs. Nothing's going to match up to it.
No, nothing does. Oscar's is pretty good. And Let's Go Lando's good too, but Let's Go Lando's not the same vibe as Do.
Yeah, it's very different. And like I said, they're good, but they're not that good.
No, not that good. That came up on my For You page before I became a Formula One fan. And I remember I genuinely stuck in my head one day, and I was like, maybe Celine's onto something.
You're welcome.
She was.
Also, before
yeah.
we get too into it, make sure you follow us on social media. We are on TikTok, we are on Instagram, and we do post our episodes, our podcast episodes on Spotify and on YouTube. So go follow us on everything. We did go to the Las Vegas Grand Prix last weekend. Just literally, we got back yesterday. And we posted a lot on there, so make sure you go follow us.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into it. We're gonna do some of the news first, and then we'll get into the Grand Prix and a bit of it's probably gonna be a bit heavy on like our experience. We're gonna talk about the race, obviously, but like, oh, you guys, I had a travel day. I had a day.
She did. She had to
I'll
go
tell
through
you all about
something.
it. Don't you worry. But yeah, we will get into the race. We'll talk about it.
We'll do our pops.
Problems, and guys, we had a great view. I cannot wait to talk
Great
about
view.
it. First, let's talk about such exciting news. We are having an 11th team join the Formula One grid in 2026.
Yeah, honestly, I am super excited. It is Cadillac coming.
Cadillac,
GM,
yeah.
Yeah, so General Motors. It is an American company.
Yeah.
So 2 American teams on the grid.
Yeah.
And also, it's just gonna shake things up.
Oh, it's gonna shake things up.
Like, I made a TikTok about this, but like silly season for 2025's lineup, we were like, this is going to be crazy. Yeah. And it's been like that all year ever since the news dropped that Lewis was moving to Ferrari. That's when everyone kind of knew it was going to be crazy. Along with there being so many drivers with their contracts up. But I feel like a lot with this silly season, we didn't get a lot of information and confirmation on how long these contracts were signed for. I feel like in the past it's been a little bit more specific, but this one it's always either just been like multi-year or 1 year or that kind of thing. And so because of that, I think they did it on purpose because of the regulations coming in 2026.
Oh, yeah.
Now with another team coming, it's going to make things all up in the air. Like, we don't know. Anything could happen.
It's gonna be insane. So just I guess like a bit of backstory on this. Andretti and Michael Andretti himself tried to place a bid to get onto the Formula One grid. It was denied, caused a whole uproar. And basically like Liberty Media was like, we don't know if they're gonna bring what we want, the integrity we want. And it's like, hey, he was a Formula One driver. Andretti is so successful around the world.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Liberty Media and Formula One did not like the fact that Michael Andretti was a part of it. He stepped down from the program, and it went a little heavy onto the Cadillac GM side, and they have accepted the bid. So that is very exciting, and Michael Andretti said, I'm going to do a little Uno reverse, and I'll be the director of the team. So that's very exciting. That's not team principal. I got a little confused first. He's going to oversee a lot of stuff, but I'm kind of excited to see, like...
So the team principal would report into him?
Yes.
So he's kind of like the Zach Brown?
Zach Brown is the CEO of McLaren Racing.
So who's the director, like, equivalent of McLaren?
Like,
are we sure it's not just the same thing but a different name?
Could be. Very well could be.
Okay.
Which, oh, wow, that goes back to the Zach Brown helping with lots. It's super exciting.
It's gonna make things very difficult for me because I do feel like I'm going to be a huge fan because I love Andretti already. It's my top IndyCar team. And also I do just feel a strong allegiance to any American team out there. I do love Haas though, so that's going to be hard for me. And then obviously McLaren. So I'll be interested to see what driver lineup they put out.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if they're going to try to maybe bring an American driver. I personally would love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a full season after that. Like, who knows? Maybe they could bring, like, Jack Crawford up if he does. Is he doing Formula 2 again next year?
Oh, I don't know.
If he does Formula 2 again, if he's doing good, like, maybe they bring him up.
What do you think about Colton? A lot of people obviously immediately are throwing Colton's name in the ring.
Colton's name has been thrown around a lot in the past for Formula 1 seats, but he's never had the super license points.
He just got them this year.
So I feel like now that he has them, and if, he already has a relationship with Andretti.
Yeah.
He has strong ties to Andretti. His dad literally works for the team, Brian Herta. I personally would love it. I would be really sad for Colton to leave IndyCar. But it would be a cool opportunity for him to just get a different experience and, diversify his resume a little bit. I think it'd be really cool.
I just had some crazy thoughts pop into my head as you were talking. I'm going to obviously say them out loud. I think Pato's going to try for that seat.
I think he will as well.
I think he will too, and 2020. I'm not speaking ill, but 2026. We have we have 2 more races and another season.
So much could change.
I don't know how long these McLaren contracts are. We literally have no clue if one of them jumps to the new team or somewhere else. Like, I feel like Cadillac coming in is going to give Pato a good opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Either way, yeah.
Yeah, that also was probably a little biased because I'm such a huge fan of him too as well.
Right.
And Colton, obviously.
Yeah.
It's going to be so amazing. And to see some, news coming up, team principals, CEOs.
Yeah.
Engineers.
It is really cool too because, it feels really quick. Yes, it's a whole year away, but it feels really quick.
They're going to have to get things up and running in December.
Yeah. And also, I wonder when they're going to make these announcements. And it's also interesting just because it feels like Formula 1 and IndyCar gets more and more intertwined every year.
Oh, yes.
With Prema coming to IndyCar and now Andretti, going to Formula 1.
Yeah.
It's just, I do wonder if there's going to be more and more crossovers kind of happening. Maybe more Formula drivers. Again, now that Monaco was moved, maybe more Formula 1 drivers doing the Indy 500.
Yeah. Which
would be super cool. Maybe more IndyCar drivers becoming reserve drivers for Formula 1 to possibly move, or, being helping with sim racing, all that. Because really we only have, Pato and Pietro that are IndyCar drivers reserved for Formula 1.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm really excited, and just I feel so happy about it. I can't wait.
It's gonna be so.
And just with an 11th team, that's 2 more spots on the grid, and that's more opportunity for drivers. It's more opportunity for chaos to happen.
Franco Colapinto Padua Award. I'm calling it here now.
Oh,
probably not. I assume they would. That'd be a great pairing.
It would be whoa.
I do.
They would be the smoothest team ever. They would just be spitting out
Absolutely.
Riz after Riz after Riz.
I assume they would do a experienced driver, new driver type of deal.
Yeah. Someone on the TikTok commented that it should be Daniel and Valtteri, and it could be the battle of the number 2 drivers.
I saw that. I also want to bring up Lizzie on TikTok talked about this, how GM is obviously this is going to be an American team, and GM's headquartered in Michigan and Detroit, and if they are based in America, this is going to bring, no matter where it is, it's going to bring so many jobs, but it's going to bring so many Formula 1 and more motorsport jobs in America, which is so cool. She talked about that, and I was oh my gosh, that is so exciting. That's so cool. There's a whole space now coming in for, Americans to join in and get in on the motorsport, and that is also another thing I'm super excited about.
Haas is in North Carolina?
Yes, they're in North Carolina.
Okay, so I think that would be cool if it is in Detroit.
Yeah.
Some more I'm excited, guys.
No,
and
it's so good.
I think it'll bring in a lot more American sponsors.
Yes.
And not that there needs to be another American race, but I do hope that maybe it would bring even more American fans in, and maybe some different type of American fans, and just kind of continue diversifying the space. But
gosh, Haas, Haas is going to have a rough time trying to get American sponsors.
Yeah. Actually, I'm a little worried about
Especially
Haas. As
like
a Haas fan, but...
New team coming in, they're going to want to go to the new team, I fear.
They did just secure, the partnership with Toyota Gazoo.
Yes,
I think that will help them a lot.
Yeah, that'll be really, really good.
And we also got to remember that while Haas is maybe not the most...
they're doing fantastic this year.
They're literally only 30-something points behind Aston Martin, which is insane if you think about it. Aston Martin's supposed to be one of the higher mid-level teams, and they're 30 points away from a Haas. Anyways, but Haas does have it's no Andretti, but they have a strong strong ties with all motorsport. They have NASCAR and all of that, so I do think that still helps them.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we move on to our next big news we found out this week?
Yes. So this week we also got the official calendar for the Formula One Academy 2025 calendar.
Yes.
I'm very excited. There are some changes to it.
Yeah.
Formula One Academy is coming to Las Vegas.
It's going to be their finale. Their final race is going to be in Las Vegas.
Oh, I just got chills.
I know.
Because we got to see them race in Miami this year, and they're still going to be in Miami this year. But it is just so interesting that they're also coming to Las Vegas, too, as their final race. And I just think it's special because, honestly, Formula One Academy is, I feel, hugely supported in America. They have a lot of American sponsors. And that's why I think they're having 2 races here where, Formula 2 doesn't even come to America. Yeah. North America at all, right?
No.
Does, they don't come to Canada or Mexico?
No.
Does Formula One Academy go to Canada or Mexico, or is it just...
They're going to Canada next year.
So they're going to Miami, Canada, and Las Vegas.
Yes, there's 3 races in North America.
See, and I do think it's mainly heavily the sponsors. You can tell that they did the kickoff for Formula One Academy. I forget where it was this year, the first race. It was before Miami, though.
Yes, it was.
But it wasn't even, talked about too much until it got to Miami. They had huge events going on. They had... a lot more media around it, and I think it really is because they have so many people traveling, and they have so many people coming, influencers and all that, just to the American races for the Formula One Academy.
Charlotte Tilbury, Tommy Hilfiger, American Express, having Kendall Jenner there in Miami.
Yeah.
That has helped so much.
You know who they should bring?
Who?
Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg is starting, or she already started a...
Oh, yes!
A new, I don't know if it's a TV station, and, not TV station, that dated me, a TV channel, and all it does is play women's sports.
I'm sure Susie Wolf is on it.
And, they need to get on that. They need to get connected, because that would be amazing.
No, that'd be so
to have that backing, but on both ends. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So, very, very exciting.
So, if that happens, you're welcome for the idea.
Yeah, of course. Pumped.
But I'm super excited. We have already gotten some drivers announcement. We talked about Ella
Lloyd.
Ella Lloyd for McLaren. And we're getting some more announcements coming out.
Yeah.
Constantly. But it's going to be interesting because a lot of the drivers from this year aren't returning next year because they are only allowed to do 2 years.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's do it.
Okay, Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, baby. Let's talk about it.
Let's start out by saying that we once again planned this a little short notice.
Yes.
Things came together. We already talked about the planning part of it, so we'll kind of leave that.
Yeah.
Go check out one of the past episodes. I don't even remember what episode it was in, but it's in one of the recent ones. Ago. So me and Gracie separated on the way there. So Gracie had to work on Friday. I didn't work on Friday, so I left early Friday. My flight was pretty straightforward. I had a layover. I got there. I landed at 6, and I got to the hotel right after that. We only got tickets for the race day. We didn't get tickets for everything, so I watched qualifying in the hotel room. We were staying with our friend Marley, Motorsport Marley, and our friend Andrea, Apex Andrea. Shout out to them. Also, Andrea is on the Laps Down podcast, which we were on last week. So if you haven't looked at that, go check it out. But they weren't there. Marley was still in the air on the way there, and Andrea was at qualifying. So I was watching qualifying from the hotel room myself, and I got some tragic news.
Tragic news.
Gracie, take it over from here.
I was taking... Yeah, so I had to work on Friday, and I worked till 6, so I was taking the one of the last flights out of the airport, and I get picked up. I'm on my way there, and immediately I have a layover. Immediately my flight gets canceled right as I get in the car. It's a 30-minute delay, and my layover was an hour and a half. I was like, no sweat. I get to the airport and through security, another 30-minute delay. So now I'm just like at 30 minutes for my layover. It's still possible. My gates, like landing and departing in Salt Lake City, were right next to each other, so it was fine. And then I was like, I'm a little nervous still. And then, like, I know Celine was flying in the air. I knew, like, Andrea and MJ were at, like, doing stuff in Vegas. So I'm, like, panicking, texting Marley, because we were both flying out after work. I was like, Marley, my flight just got delayed twice. If it gets late again, I'm not making it to Vegas tonight. And then she was like, okay, here's what you're going to do. And then also I'm calling my dad, because my dad travels a lot. So I was like, Marley's texting me. I was like, Dad, what am I doing? He's like, go to the desk, go look up other flights. And the help line at my gate was obviously miles long, because this basically was a flight just full of connections. So people were trying to get rerouted and everything like that. And I'm standing in line, and like my dad calls me. He's like, how's it looking? I was like, the line is so long. And I was like, there's a flight, an American flight out of here, literally in 10 minutes. And he was like, leave that line. My dad knew somehow. He was like, this is the gate it's probably going to be at. Run down there now and see if they have a spot open. And I was like, okay. So I like get out of this line. I'm
Did
like,
you have to switch concourses?
No.
Oh,
it was luckily still in the same concourse. Because if it wasn't, I would not have made it.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, oh, it's on the other side though. So I am like walking fast. Don't run. I am just walking so fast. I get down to the desk and I go up to the guy and I go, hi, do you have any open seats on this flight? He goes, yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was like, okay, here's my situation. Like, I'm going to miss my connecting flight over on Delta. Can I switch over? Like,
Was it straight?
No, it was stopping in Chicago, and then it was going there. I would have gotten in an hour earlier too if I would have made it, or if they would have had it. And then he goes, yeah, sure, let me do it. And he's like typing something, and he's like, we can get you to Vegas. And then he goes, oh. And I said, no, what? And he goes, I'm so sorry, these seats are unbookable because these people didn't show up. That's why I have open seats right now. So I can't book you this, because if they show up last second, I'm giving my seat. And I was like, I so appreciate you looking. I'm a little devastated right now. I said, thank you so much. And then I go back to the Delta line. And then I asked the lady, I was like, realistically, what do you think? Like, and I'm looking on the app the whole time, because the other flight was in Atlanta. So I could see when it was, if the flight had taken off or not. And it just kept saying boarding. I was like, you guys have got to get out of there. And then I hear when I'm line, it's mechanical issues in Atlanta. And then I finally get up to the desk and I asked the lady, I was like, am I going to make my connection? And she was like, you have 30 minutes, you have time. And I was like, okay, if it gets delayed again, am I going to make my connection? She goes, no, you're not. And I was like, can you start with that maybe? Like, I get you're trying to give me hope. And then I was asking everybody. I asked my dad, I asked Marley, I asked Celine. I was like, I want to risk it. Is that dumb? Everybody was like, risk it.
I said risk it.
Yeah.
And then for it.
So my connecting flight was leaving at 11:14. And my flight, we get on the flight and the gate agent said it's going to land at 11:08. And then also like, obviously not every time, because it didn't happen to me, but sometimes if it's like an issue with the airline, they'll hold the connecting flight because they don't have to pay the money to rebook you or to get you a hotel and stuff like that. So my dad was like, there's a good chance like they will hold the flight and let you run in. And I was like, and Marley said the same thing too. So I was like, I'm gonna hope. And then we landed early, and I get off the plane and I'm looking to go to my gate. The flight attendant was like, if you are connecting to Las Vegas, like, let them off the flight first. Like, they have 8 minutes to get to their connecting flight. And I was like, that's me. They're going to hold it for me. Yes. And then I get off, and then I look at the Delta app, and it prompts me to reschedule my flight. You guys, shed some tears in that Salt Lake City airport.
I felt so bad. She texted me, and I was, like, literally doing my makeup for the club, watching qualify, and I was like, that is so sad.
No, and, like, obviously I didn't miss any race things, which is like the most important. I wasn't going to be there in time to watch qualifying anyway, but like all of our friends were meeting up. I was meeting Marley at the airport. We were going to like Uber over to the hotel, and we were going to immediately leave and go out. I was going to meet Andrea for the first time. It was going to be so fun. And then, I was like really sad. And then I couldn't find the help desk in the Salt Lake City airport for half a minute. And I was just like walking around. I was like, I was like deep breathing. And it was just mainly sad because I was like, everybody's posting their TikToks over there. All my friends are meeting right now.
It was already so hard because a lot of people, we obviously, like, I even just got in Friday, but like a lot of people got there like Wednesday, Thursday. Our friend MJ got there literally Tuesday. So like we already were like missing out. We were like, God, I wish I was there already.
Yeah.
Like, this stinks. And so, like, for her to lose another day.
Yeah.
Especially when we were only staying 2 nights and she lost a night. I felt so bad. So, right after you texted that, I did text Marley and I said, Marley, I know this is really sad, but you should get an Uber right now. And she said, yeah.
Yeah, no, I absolutely figured.
She's like, what do I do? I'm like, you just have to call the Uber.
Even when I texted Marley, too, Marley is, like, the nicest person, the perfect person to text, especially about travel things when you're in a panic. She, like, was, like, texting me the whole time, like, she literally was like, I'm gonna buy Wi-Fi so I can keep updated with you, and I was like, that's so nice, you do not have to buy Wi-Fi. Like, I don't know how expensive that's gonna be. But then she was like, okay, I'm looking up to see if there are any more flights to Vegas out of, like, the Salt Lake City airport. Like, there wasn't. It was fine. But after all was done and dusted, and I got to my hotel
in Salt Lake City,
it was, like, and I, you know, like, shower, got ready for bed, everything. It was, like, 1, and then I had absolutely no clue what happened with qualifying. I had McLaren tweet notifications on, so I knew where they landed, but I had no clue what else happened. And so I went back. I, like, watched qualifying as I fell asleep. I, like, fell asleep during it. I fell asleep at 1 o'clock and then woke up at 4, so I got some 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I'll take back over here. So, as that's happening, we're all sad. Marley does make it to the hotel. During, like, the last bit of qualifying. Qualifying got delayed a little bit because Franco had the crash right at the end of Q2, so it delayed Q3 a little bit. So we were able to actually watch the last, like, 2 minutes of qualifying together because of that.
Lovely.
So after qualifying, Andrea comes back. She walks back from the track, and we're like, okay, great. So we already planned to go out. So we're like, okay, we'll go out. We go to, I don't even know where we went. We went to the area.
Did you go to Aria?
Yeah, but not
the Carlos Sainz.
Not the Carlos Sainz party.
Yeah.
It was like the club inside of it. So we went there.
Did you guys pay to get in?
No. We were on the list.
Oh, sorry.
We were on the list. But we went there. It was really fun. The DJ was playing, like, good music. We were desperately begging for a Sabrina Carpenter song. Got nothing, but it's okay. But it wasn't really crowded. It was pretty, but it was empty enough that it made it easy to, like, get around and get a drink.
Yeah, that's
Go
nice.
to the bathroom. Like, it was an okay level of crowd. And then it was funny, we got back pretty late, and keep in mind, like, where I am, Las Vegas is what, how many hours behind us? 3?
From home, it's 3 hours.
3 hours behind us. So I already, like, woke up early that day to get ready for my flight. And we got back at, like, 3:30.
So it's like 6
Las Vegas time, so it was like 6 a.m. So I had been, like, up pretty much 24 hours at this point. I was exhausted. We got back, and as we were going to bed, Gracie was waking up for her flight.
Yeah. It was
like, all right, see you when you land. I'll go to bed.
And then also, I'm glad I did, because I woke up and I was like, I'm going to fall back asleep if I have time. But then I saw, like stories, and, like, you had, like, texted me something, and I realized I was still awake. I woke up and I was like, don't deadbolt the door, or else I can't get in. Because I got in early, and I was like, they're still going to be sleeping by the time I get there. So, and then in the morning I woke up. It was smooth sailing, and I got to Vegas at, like, 9.
Yep. So when Gracie got there, you would think, oh, let's sleep in a bit. No, we just stayed up when Gracie got there. So Gracie I think got to her, like, 9:15? 9:30?
No, my flight later at 9. I got there closer to 10.
Okay. No, it had to have been 9:30 at least. Because I remember waking up and specifically...
Oh. My
Your
flight landed
at 8.
My flight landed at 8, yes.
Yeah. So you got to the hotel at, like, 9:15, 9:30. And I just specifically remember being like, I should go back to bed and sleep a little bit more. And I just didn't. I was too excited.
No, I came in so quiet because I was like, they're, like, you know, whatever. And then I heard Gracie, and I go, hi, guys!
We were all so excited. Keep in mind, this is also the first time her and Andrea met in person, too.
We never were like, hey, nice to meet you. We just, like, dropped right in.
It dropped right in.
Crashed out.
Yeah. So we were like, okay, like, what's the plan for today? We were wanting to go to Rainforest Cafe. It was closed.
Devastating.
It was really, because we, like, took a journey to get there, too. Like, we took an Uber, and then we walked through the mall, and then we walked up escalators and down escalators and around corners.
I'm glad they were working, though.
And yes, yeah. And Rainforest Cafe was closed. We're like, oh, well, we want to, like, sit down somewhere and eat. I guess we'll go to Bubba Gump. We go to Bubba Gump. Bubba Gump is closed, too. So we're like, okay, we're just gonna get some fast food. So we got fast food. We sat on the bench and we ate it.
It was so good.
Keep in mind, like, I didn't really eat many real meals while I was there. I didn't eat any sit down meals. I ate meals, but so we sat on a bench and ate it in the mall, which was great. And then we were able to we walked around a lot. We went to a couple of different hotels that had like the displays up, so we were able to go to like the Mercedes pop-up.
Yeah.
We went to where they had the Haas car displayed. The McLaren car is actually displayed in our hotel.
Yeah, that was good.
It was so great. And our hotel also had a mini sphere inside.
Yeah, she was lovely.
Like, literally McLaren and the sphere are like the two things that we loved the most.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they were both in our hotel was beautiful. We stayed at the Hilton Resort World.
Yeah.
And it was really great. We stayed on like the second to the top,
the
58th floor. But it was, I mean, we weren't on the sphere side. Yeah, the strip side of it, but it was still like a good view. But yeah, so we went around. We were on the strip. We went to a bunch of different hotels. We went back to the Aria where the Carlos Sainz pop-up little dance party was. People were watching football inside of it, so
no dance party,
no dancing in there. But it was really cool. We got to hang out with MJ, walk around.
Got some coffee.
We went to the Hello Kitty coffee shop,
the coffee was so good.
It was so cute.
It was so good. It was very cute.
I got a zebra coffee, which I actually loved a lot.
Yeah.
Which I get. It's basically like white. It's like a mocha, but it's like white mocha and dark mocha, which I get a lot. But I've never heard it called zebra before. But I'm obsessed with it. Like, I'm obsessed with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got some coffee, and then we're like, okay.
Went to the Williams fan zone.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Not the fan. Oh, yeah, we did go to the Williams fan zone. I was like, where were we? Yeah, we went to the Williams fan zone. They had, like, they had sim racing going on.
They had sim racing, and fastest time got tickets to the race.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And it was, like, up on a big screen. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been, like, cool to do it, but, it was on a huge screen.
Everyone was watching it.
And they were, like, they were commentating on it. I was like, I would never do that. I would be so scared. They had Alex Albon merch, which our friends did get some of that. It was really cute.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just walked around and had a good time. We got to see a lot of stuff. We got to see more than I was expecting on Saturday because we didn't know how much time we would have to do stuff other than the race.
Yeah.
So I was glad that we got to see some of that stuff.
Definitely going early next year.
Yeah, for sure. That's the plan. We want to go earlier next year.
Because, well, also just like, I
want to go for qualifying.
I want to go for qualifying too.
And with Formula One Academy there.
Oh, you're so right. I want to be able to like do this stuff maybe on like Thursday or something, and then a little bit of Saturday or Friday, but like Sunday. I don't know. I felt not rushed. Yeah, everything was fine, but I was like, I'm missing things. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like almost like we get there and like Thursday we do what we did Saturday.
Yeah.
And Friday we go to qualifying.
Yeah. Well, because there was also like in our hotel, if you showed that you were like a Hilton whatever member, and admittedly I'm not, but I know my dad is, so I was like, I'm gonna call him, just have him send me a screenshot, see if it works. But then I was like, oh, we don't have enough time. Oh, sorry. If you were a rewards member, you could sit inside the show car they had and like get pictures. And I was like, I want to do that. But I was like, we don't have time for this. I don't have time to maybe get denied if
we didn't have time to like do we were able to like see the stuff, but we were able to do like the like specific like scheduled events. Like there were like obviously so many meetups with drivers.
Oh yeah.
At different like sponsors, like Lando was at like Toomey?
Oscar was at Toomey.
Where did Lando go?
Abercrombie?
No, Oscar was at Abercrombie.
Where was Lando? He was somewhere.
I forget. There was, Franco was at Home Depot. All of that. But it will be cool to like get there earlier to be able to do that kind of stuff.
There are also a lot of like content creator meetups. Like I would have loved to go to the fan behavior one.
Yeah.
God, they're so nice.
Yeah. And there's just a lot of things. There was like a networking event that Formula One Academy put on. And I don't know, I just want to get there earlier. And I do think that out of the three Formula One races we went to this year, I feel like Las Vegas had the most stuff, like events prior to, because I think Also, Las Vegas is easier to do stuff like that because it's all, like, clustered together.
Yeah.
So it's so easy to, like, go to one meetup and then, like, walk, you know, half a mile and you
like,
can go to, like,
monorail.
the Williams fan zone and then you can go there. Where, like, definitely Coda is all spread out, but even Miami is still pretty spread out. On, like, where the events were happening. Yeah. So that's why if we went super early and took off work for any of them, I would definitely do Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, we did all that. Then we went back to the hotel. The race started at 10 p.m. Las Vegas time, but the doors opened, I think, at 4:30.
And we knew the driver's parade was starting at 8.
Yeah, so we're like, okay, we want to get there, like, maybe our goal is to, like, get in around, like, 6 or something, get some food, and get ready for the driver's parade. So before we talk about going to the race, we got to talk about our outfits and the planning of it. So we knew it was cold, and we admittedly were like, we like being cold.
I run warm, and I get warm very easily. And when I'm, like, hot, I'm
miserable. Yeah. And while I do, at the end of the day, still enjoy the temperature of this race better than all of the other races where I was too hot. Like, Mid-Ohio was so hot at Mid-Ohio. That's probably the hottest one we went to. All in all, though, it was pretty chilly. And again, we're from, like, a colder state.
Yeah.
It literally was snowing the day before we left. And we're like, it's only in, like, the 50s. The wind, it's serious.
Oh, the wind is crazy. And, like, I knew Vegas is windy. I've been before in the same kind of temperature.
But when you're just sitting out in it.
Yeah.
And also, like, in the grandstands, you're, like, kind of elevated a bit. So it was pretty cold. So much so that when we got there, I was shaking in my boots. And it wasn't even, like, 9 p.m. at this point. Like, even during the driver's parade, I'm like, I'm pretty cold. And I was wearing a jacket. So I had to go buy a sweatshirt. I'm wearing it now for people really watching on YouTube. I'm obsessed with it. Really it is the comfiest sweatshirt I've ever put on my body. And just so you all are aware, my podcast viewers and listeners, I'll be wearing it in many, many episodes because I'm never taking it off my body.
I love that for you.
So yeah, I bought this and I wore this and my jacket.
I mean, I will say, if you're someone that gets cold, like, I wore a skirt, a turtleneck, and a jacket. I didn't wear tights because, once again, I get overstimulated so easy, and tights, one of those things.
Yeah.
And I knew I got, like, the walk there, I was profusely sweating. Because
the walk there, I was sweating.
Everybody has to walk through this one spot, this one way. Like,
you're also going in and out of hotels, so you're getting warmer and then hotter, and then you're also going upstairs, and there's crowds. So the walk there, I was carrying my jacket. I had a long sleeve shirt, and I was sweaty.
I looked at Marley, and I said, I can't wait to eat my words, but I'm not cold at all. I literally was like, I can't wait to eat my words.
No, I was literally like, God, I can't wait till I get too cold.
Yeah. my turtleneck was pretty thick, so I just used my jacket, like, as a blanket. Honestly, I was fine. I was cold. Yes, I was cold. But, like, not to the point where it was, like, not detrimental. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know.
I think I would have been fine in my jacket. Was I slightly looking for an excuse to buy merch? Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
But also, I was, like, cozy in my sweatshirt. Good. Like, I was nestled in. I was sat. So, yeah, we get to our seats. We watch the...
Real quick, I will say... Sorry to interrupt.
You're fine.
There's, like, I don't know. Somebody probably smart could figure this out. Some grandstands were colder than others because of the wind, and, like, some, you know, the wind got broken up by the sphere. Or, like, other buildings and stuff, the wind kind of was, like, directly hitting us, so we didn't have it breaking up anything. And I think even MJ and Andrea said that, like, MJ's grandstand one day, like, wasn't as windy as where our spot was. So, advice for the future, it's just going to depend. You could also... When you walk in, it is a wind. First of all, you show up.
Oh, yeah. I almost got knocked over.
You show up and you're staring at the sphere. You guys, she was like probably our distance. She was so close to us. But it is directly a wind tunnel. So you are being blasted. Oh, so sorry. You are being blasted with wind.
Yeah. It was intense at first. So we get there. The first thing we do is we get some food. So the tickets that we got, and I'm pretty sure all tickets. At least for sure are in our zone, which we stayed in the T-Mobile zone, came with free food and drink.
Yeah.
And the food was pretty good. My favorite thing that I got, well, the hot dog was delicious.
Oh, the hot dog was so good.
And I also really loved the savory pie. I was a little disappointed because the other days the savory pie was an empanada. And the day that we were there, it was a chicken pot pie.
I wish I would have got that.
I love chicken pot pie, don't get me wrong, but I was really hoping for an empanada. Mm-hmm. It's fine. Another reason to go early next year. Gotta go for the empanadas. But so we get food, we get drinks. There's also, it's like free soda and water. Mm-hmm. And then if you wanted like a Red Bull or an alcoholic
soda
drink.
was free?
Yes, Gracie.
Didn't know.
Yes. So we get our food, we eat, and then we go get our seats. Mm-hmm. Guys, our seats were so good. Like, we didn't even know where we were sitting. We basically called instead of, which we again talked about a couple episodes ago, but we called rather than getting them on Ticketmaster. Mm-hmm. And the way that it works when you call is that you like basically request a section, and then they basically assign you a seat like a week later. Like, you don't even know when you get off the phone where you're sitting. I don't know if we just charmed the girl we were talking to or
Shout
what.
out to Olivia from F1 Fan Experiences.
It was the best seat,
Absolutely.
The best view and the seat that I sat in at any race this year.
Absolutely.
And not only just because, like, where we were located, like, we were, like, right next to a bathroom. We were really close. Like, we were far up in the grandstand, which normally you don't want to be too close if the road or, like, the circuit is, like, close to the wall. Mm-hmm. But the spot that we were at, there was a curve. So we saw everything perfectly. We were as close up we had a screen in front of us. Mm-hmm. We still saw the sphere. We had the bathrooms. We were near the end, and we didn't have to go, like, cut through a lot of people to get to and from our seats. Mm-hmm. We got to write those down because we got to call back Olivia next year, and we got to say, Olivia, give us the exact same seats.
I kept the email.
Perfect.
I kept the email.
I hope she working for him still. But
we'll be contacting you, Olivia.
Olivia, let us know. Mm-hmm. We could probably, like, figure out how to put, like, pre-sale or something.
Olivia, would you like to actually partner with us?
Yeah, Olivia, give us a call. Yeah. Reach out. But no, it was
posting content.
Yeah, literally. The seats were amazing. So we sat down and we're like, guys, this is great. We had fun people around us.
Some interesting people,
but fun. And then we watched the driver's parade.
I prefer it when they come in their little individual cars.
Yeah, it's more special, but I also like when they do it on the truck because they interview them. Yeah, absolutely. And I like the interviews. They do their driver parade. We did our little waves. After the driver's parade, we did meet up with some friends. We were able to meet them in person for the first time. Our friend Chloe did make us some bracelets. Shout out to Chloe. They're really cute. I'm obsessed with them. They have little bows on them.
Yeah.
And then after that, we did some bathroom breaks, got some more drinks, and then we went back to our seat. Actually, I went to get the sweatshirt at this point because I was cold.
I went to get a little cocktail.
A little cocktail, yeah.
Which was so good.
I didn't drink at the race. You did, but how are the drink prices compared to the other places?
I paid $20, and that is expensive. It was really good. I personally didn't mind paying the price. They had like beer. I would have done like a seltzer if they had one, but they didn't, and I assumed that the beer was cheaper. Mm-hmm. Not too bad, and like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't have any complaints personally.
Yeah, I don't normally drink at the Formula One races and most IndyCar races unless they're like really reasonably priced. But when I do, I normally stick with the beer because it's just cheaper and it's just you can drink more of it cheaper. But I didn't drink at the race this time. I just drank Sprite. Looking at the beer prices, I think it was a little bit more expensive than Miami, but less expensive than Coda.
Yes.
Which weird that you wouldn't expect it, but Coda definitely had the pricier drinks.
Yeah, they did.
And Miami had the cheapest drinks, and Vegas was in the middle, from what I could tell.
Miami had high noons, which I love.
Miami actually I was really impressed with the drink prices.
The food wasn't, I know we got food like included in our ticket. The food wasn't that expensive either. But obviously, the beach club that went viral on everywhere on the internet was expensive, but they were paying $1,400 for a seat. Anyway.
Yep. But yeah, so then we get ready. Well, actually, right before the race, Ludacris performed.
Oh, yeah, that was so good.
And he was playing the hits. He knew his crowd. The first 2 songs he pulled out, Baby by Justin Bieber.
No, Baby was a little down the line. You were...
Oh, well, I arrived late.
Yeah, no, he
first
played for a while.
I sat, and the first songs that came up, Baby by Justin Bieber and Glamorous by Fergie.
When Baby came on, all 4 of us, Marley, MJ, me, and Celine, and Andrea. No, MJ wasn't there. I knew I had something wrong when I was talking. Andrea, Marley, me, and Celine, we screamed.
We were singing our hearts out.
And the people around us were like, they were loving it.
The man in front of us turned around and he said, I didn't know I had Sister Act behind me. He said, you all sound great.
And then his wife goes, you guys should start a group. And we were like,
don't tempt us.
Yeah, no, we will.
We literally will. Do you want us to? Right now, we'll do it.
I will.
Put us on stage. So yeah, Ludacris performed. He obviously played his hits. Ludacris is one of those people that, like, you don't realize how many Ludacris songs that you know until he's playing all of them, and you're like, oh, yep, I know every word to this.
Yeah.
So he performed, and then the race started.
Yeah, let's get in to the race.
So we're not going to go too deep into the race. There were a couple different situations that happened. All in all, George dominated. Absolutely, he ran away with it.
Fantastic.
There was no point at any point during that race did anybody think that George wasn't going to win.
No.
Lewis also did very well.
Good recovery.
Mercedes, fantastic. Don't know where it came from.
I
don't necessarily love it.
I love it more than a Ferrari domination constructors-wise.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
gonna be honest with you.
Constructors-wise, yeah. I'm not concerned about Mercedes in the Constructors' Cup, which is why I prefer George or Lewis to win over a Red Bull or a Ferrari right now.
Ferrari's battling their own demons.
Yeah. That's another thing that happened. There was some drama between Charles and Carlos. And we don't have a lot of time, so I do have to have a really quick rant.
Go ahead.
So during the race, there was drama between Charles and Carlos because I'm gonna talk really fast. Charles had to pit, and he had to pit for new tires. When he was coming out right next to where Carlos was. And they basically were like, hey, when you all are getting out next to each other, don't fight each other. You all can't crash. We can't risk anything, right? So Charles's race engineer comes over the radio and goes, hey, we told Carlos to not overtake. Meanwhile, Carlos's race engineer goes over and they go, hey Carlos, keep it clean. Don't put pressure on Charles. Never says to overtake. And at the end of the day, Charles left the pit right next to each other with new cold tires. They were not warm enough to have the speed that he needed to stay in front of Carlos. So Carlos literally would have had to actively slow down to not overtake him, which would have been silly. There was more into it. Basically, like, before that, they were going to pick Carlos, and then Charles thought that they were doing, like, the undercut and all this stuff. Beside the point, at the end of the day, Charles did make a comment, and he was like, whenever Charles's race engineer was like, hey, we told him not to overtake you, Charles made a comment that said, hey, maybe try to tell him in Spanish. And there is I am calling out a double standard here, because so many people online are like, LOL, Charles is so funny. That is hilarious. He's so sassy. Like, his one-liners, blah, blah, blah. If some other drivers would have said that, like if Max would have said that, or Lando would have said that, they would have been like, oh my gosh, the racial undertones in that statement is insane.
Yeah.
And the fact that no one's talking about it, it kind of pisses me off a little bit. I'm not going to lie. So that's the end of the rant. I don't want to harp on it too much, but at the end of the race, Charles got a little snappy on the radio and was just like talking about how he's not going to be Mr. Nice Guy anymore. So we'll see what happens from it. I do think that at the time, Charles didn't have all the information and he was frustrated, and he was hearing what his radio engineer was telling him. So I get why he was frustrated.
Absolutely. Yeah, I get it for sure.
Because if he was told, hey, like, we told Carlos not to overtake you and you overtake him, I'd be pissed too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But maybe not. I wouldn't make that comment, you know? Yeah. I'd maybe avoid that comment. So that was happening during the race. And then that continued in the media afterwards, where even Carlos made a comment and was like, hey, like, you know, me and Charles, we have gotten into these battles before, and we talked about it, and we decided that we're going to keep all of that out of the radios and out of the media until after debrief, and I've done that. Yeah. And Charles hasn't. He didn't say that part. That was implied. So a lot of Ferrari fans are not happy with Carlos right now, But I'm gonna stand by in this scenario. I am Team Carlos on this scenario.
I stand by my canceled wife.
Guys, he's going to Williams next year. Like, and I get that Charles is higher up in the driver's standings.
But I do have a counter argument for that.
Okay.
And hate this fact: Carlos is closer to overtaking Oscar than Charles is to overtaking Lando. And like you said, I get it that Charles can get second in the standings. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And again, at the end of the day, even if it made more sense, like Charles was closer to overtaking Lando than Carlos was to Oscar, Carlos would have had to actively slow down to not overtake him.
Yeah.
It would have been silly. So that's the end of that rant. But like I said, the race, it was super exciting. We had a great view. George did so fantastic. And Max freaking won.
Oh,
the World Drivers' Championship, which was so exciting to get to see in person.
That was like so exciting. Guys, I'm gonna say one thing. I thought he was gonna drive a little slower so I could shout at him some more.
Yeah, we were like, hey, do some donuts or something.
No, literally.
We obviously are McLaren fans and we were rooting for Lando, but like, we love Max.
Oh, we love Max.
And also just seeing anybody win the Drivers' Championship,
so
like
cool.
You could have like. I don't think I have any enemies, but it depends on the day. You could have put my enemy in that car, and they won, and I was have been like, "This is so cool! This is so cool!"
We also have been talking about like even before the weekend happened, we feel the most lucky to have gone to our very first Grand Prix, and it have been Lando, our favorite driver's very first win, and then to have been able to also go to Miami this year. And we watched Max Verstappen win his 4th championship.
It was so cool.
And this is gonna sound
we saw George win too.
No, we saw a new win at every race we went to.
Yeah, because we saw Lando win, Charles win,
and George.
We didn't see a Max win, which is crazy.
No, I know.
Like a race win.
Yes. And I like this isn't. I feel like people could take it as shady. This is not shady at all. I feel like we both are just so proud of ourselves that like we worked hard enough, put in the extra hustle, and we paid for every race we went to this year. We paid for every hotel we went to. We paid for every flight we did. We paid for every drive we did. And that's not to be shady. I feel like some people could at all. But like we're just so proud of ourselves with the fact that like we worked so hard and could do it. With that being said, if anybody wants to partner with us next year.
No. Like next year we are going to have to like kind of make some cuts on what races we want to go to.
We went a little crazy this year.
We literally have a sit down visit to a coffee shop planned.
We have a planning meeting.
A 2025 Podium Pop planning meeting. We have an agenda and everything. I made it on the flight home. And on that agenda is we have to sit down and decide what races we are and aren't going to this year.
This year we had what the hell, sure.
Yeah, we need to plan it out a little bit better. And honestly, we could probably end up going to more races if we planned things in a little more advance than we did, because obviously the longer you wait to get stuff, the more expensive it is. Yeah, so don't make the same mistake as us.
And, well, you know what? If you do anything or even thinking about it, buy a flight early, book it refundable. Pay the extra $60. I think it was like $30 to $60 that I did when we first booked it, because I was like, I'm going, but just in case something happens. And, you know, sometimes I do say, fuck it, and don't do the refundable, which could be a mistake sometimes. But book it refundable, then if something happens and you don't go, you can get that money back, or you can get it towards points for a different flight. Yeah. If you're thinking about it, just book the flight now, book it refundable.
Okay. Okay, let's do our champagne pop and champagne problem of the race very quickly.
Absolutely.
Champagne pop, go.
I will be giving it to Max Verstappen.
And I'll give it to George, so we cover our bases.
Perfect.
I would give it to Max as well, but I'm switching it up to give it to George.
Yeah, we can
give it to Max.
Balance it out.
And those are pretty straightforward.
And I think we would have done it either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have said George and would have said Max. Yeah.
Champagne problem. I know mine's.
Me too. I'm a little.
I'm giving mine to Alex Albon.
I forgot about that. Can we talk about that real quick?
Yeah, Alex Albon hasn't finished a race since Baku.
Hey guys, Baku is in September. It's November.
I think it's 7 races it's been. It's been too long.
Yeah.
And he didn't finish race. And this one wasn't his fault. It was his power unit. But like something's got to give. And the way that like it's not super alarming to Williams is concerning. I'm sure it's alarming. I'm sure they're very disappointed. And shout out, special podium or champagne pop to the Williams mechanics because they put in the work weekend after weekend. Absolutely, God bless them. They put in the work. They deserve those. They deserve those kudos.
Pops, yeah.
But who's your champagne problem?
I'm gonna give it to Oscar.
Oscar? He did jump the start.
He did.
And got a penalty from that.
Yeah. I mean, McLaren all weekend was struggling a bit.
It wasn't a great track for our car.
No. I don't know.
He didn't bring anything to the table.
Stick between a Haas and a Sauber was something.
Ooh, another shout out. Haas did move up in the standings. Yeah. So now they are right behind. Oh, we already talked about that. Only 30 something points behind Aston Martin. Yeah. Great job, Haas. Great job.
Just on that same vein real quick, I'm so excited for Qatar.
Qatar is this weekend. We have literally 2 more weekends. 2 weekends in a row, 2 races in a row in Formula 1 2024 season is donezo. And it has been the most insane season ever. We're going to have a full episode doing a full recap of the season. We're going to sit down. We're going to chat about it. But all in all, it's been such a crazy season because we've had so many different race winners. Yeah. We haven't had this much variety in who knows how long.
2018, I believe it was.
Yeah, it's crazy, guys.
It's insane.
Personally, as much as I would love I want a McLaren to win. But if a McLaren doesn't win, I kind of would like it to be a new race winner. I think that'd be fun. I think it'd be a little Qatar? Spice. Yeah, like it would just be fun. Like if it's not McLaren, I want it to be a new person.
Who do you think it would be?
Well, if you look at it, it should be Checo. Did Checo win a race this year? Mm-hmm. No, it should be Checo.
On paper.
On paper?
Like, on paper, it should be Checo.
Yeah, on paper, it should be Checo.
Yeah.
Looking at, like, the Constructors' Cup, if you continue looking at it that way, it should be Fernando or Lance.
I think it should be Haas.
I would love if Haas wins a race, guys. I'm gonna lose it. I'm going to lose it in the best way possible. Mm-hmm. I do think that Haas is like, they've got a pep in their step.
No,
and they're
really
coming.
Do. I'm so sad that they're breaking up.
Yeah. The Hosbins.
The breakup's going to hit hard.
It's going to hit hard. But I'm excited for the lineup next year. Mm-hmm. I think Ollie's going to bring a lot to the table. Esteban. What?
I'm so sorry. Like, the last race is going to be so emotional.
No, it's going to be really sad.
Oh my god.
There's a lot of stuff happening.
There's a lot of helmet swaps, I feel like.
Yeah.
And then, like, Lewis, I feel like, is going to... And Lewis, oh my gosh, we didn't talk about this. He is doing... It's ended already. I'm so sorry if this is the first time you heard this, but he did a little contest where you could apply to get your name on his car.
Yeah.
In Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
That... Part of me was like, ooh, should I? And I was like...
This isn't for me.
That's not for me.
That's not for me.
No, that's not my business.
Yeah, wow, it's going to be an emotional 2 races, I think.
Wow, yeah.
But McLaren is supposed to do better in Qatar. Yes. It's better suited for the track. So hopefully, fingers crossed. I would like for them to extend their lead in the Constructors' Cup.
I'm giving it an Oscar Piastri masterclass.
Oh, yeah. Oscar needs it.
It's a sprint weekend, too.
He always does really good on sprint weekends.
He does.
Sprint races in general.
And he won his first sprint race Qatar this year.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Great. Any other things we need to discuss? I'm sad. It's our last race of the year that we're going to in person. The next race that we're going to is Daytona in January, which granted is only 2 months away, but it's gonna be hard.
They're addicting.
Winter break is coming. During winter break, we'll talk more about what our plans are for winter break, but we will be posting episodes. I think there's gonna be like 1 week where we don't post between Christmas and New Year's, but pretty much other than that, we're going to be continuing to post through winter break.
Because we're going to get through it together.
We will have
fun.
Yes. So if you have any ideas for episodes or things you want us to talk about during the winter break, let us know. We'll talk about Formula 1. We'll talk about IndyCar. Maybe we can do some stuff with IMSA because I'm trying to learn about IMSA. So if you know a lot about IMSA, let me know.
Yeah, we said
talk with me.
Please let us know.
Yeah.
We'll do like a rookie deep dive, I feel like.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of ideas.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got our planning meeting coming up, so a lot of brainstorming there.
Mm-hmm. So. I love making a schedule for Podium Pop, famously.
So, but yeah, great weekend. Loved the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Will be planning to go back next year.
100%.
We'll be in there.
I meant to say this earlier, but it left my little brain. Who's surprised? I am very, very interested to see what the drivers, are going to be saying about a new team joining this coming Thursday.
During media.
I could be wrong. I feel like there were some, when it was talked about, they were like, I don't want another one.
Well, yeah, a lot of them were
like
talking about like why would they want more competition.
They don't want more competition. I get it, for sure. So that's going to be so interesting.
It will be interesting. And the fact that, because we are filming this a day late, so it's being posted on Tuesday, which means that like when you're listening to this, like literally like 2 days, we're back to media. These triple headers, like it shocks me every time how quick things go.
And in one of these winter break episodes, I will be talking about how the 2025 season is trash.
We'll do a deep dive on the calendar as well. That would be good.
Garbage. There's 5 triple headers.
Yeah, it's like gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad.
I really quick before we wrap up,
Don't rant too much on it because we got to keep it for the episode.
No, I know, absolutely. It's given a bit One Direction putting out 5 albums in 5 years.
Yeah, there's gonna be some burnout involved.
Okay.
There's a reason why these drivers are getting snappier as the season goes on. You think Charles would have pulled a move like that, 8 races ago? No,
yes.
He's tired. Okay, maybe. This Charles we're talking about. He's tired. Mm-hmm. Not that that's an excuse for the racist comment. No. But they've got to be tired. They're exhausted. So, anyways, thanks for listening. We got a little rambly there at the end, but it's par for the course.
I mean, if you've listened, you know.
You know. If you know, you know.
And if you're a new listener, thank you so much.
Thanks for joining. We'll be back next week with a Qatar recap.
Yeah.
Super excited. And if you're an American fan, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, I hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving. And
when do they celebrate Thanksgiving in Canada?
Couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I know a lot of
Canadians
countries still do Black Friday and have like bank holidays. So, hope everyone enjoys their week.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.